Hi everybody, welcome to this presentation on alarms, data logging, and dashboards. My name is Colin Zauner. I'm the Controls Applications Manager here at KEB America. And today I'm going to demonstrate how to quickly set up a dashboard, a data logger, and some alarm functionality using the COMBIVIS Studio HMI software. This project will allow you to access critical machine information using our C6 router here, and it will be connected to an Allen Bradley Compact Logix PLC. I'll also demonstrate the flexibility of our software and our hardware and how it will allow you to not only view machine status, but also collect machine data to reduce machine downtime, also better monitor your machine performance, and lastly, a better plan for machine maintenance. So let's get started with the demo. First, I create a shell project that includes all of the basic project setup information. So this would include the device type that we are connecting to. Our HMI software can be loaded on a variety of our devices, including the C6 router, which we are using today, and also our HMI products and our PLC products as well. So this is already set up. Also, it includes the default screen size, which we'll use for our dashboards. As you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, we have a lot of resources available for customizing your project. Today we're just going to cover the alarms, the data loggers, and then the screens for viewing any of the data. But I should also mention that you can set up custom users and refine the permissions with those users. You can also create and run custom scripts for any functionality that's not included in our software. And lastly, you can also add events, recipes for any other functionality that you would commonly see in HMI software. So to get started, we are going to set up the backbone of our project. And what we will do is first create the communication channel to the Compact Logix PLC. So we will first create and set up the communication driver. A powerful feature of COMBIVIS Studio HMI is that we have over 40 plus communication drivers. So if you have an existing machine in the field and you'd like to add it to it, we support a wide variety of protocols, including legacy protocols as well. So we will scroll down to the Rockwell Automation folder and select the Ethernet IP option. Select OK. Now we will add a station. So this is just the channel to the PLC. For each PLC that you're connected to, you would set up a station. The two critical properties that you need to set up is the PLC type. So we'll set up the Compact Logix, and lastly the IP address of the communication port that the router is connected to. Select OK. And that's all you need to do to set up the communication channel. The next step that we are going to do is actually import all of the tags from the PLC that you're connected to into this project. And we'll use those tags to log data in our data loggers, and then also to trigger alarms as well. feature of the COMBIVIS Studio HMI software is that you can quickly import all of the PLC tags either from a file such as like an L5K file from your Studio 5000 software if you're using Rockwell devices, or you can actually scan the tags directly from the PLC, and you would do that using the Get PLC Tags button here. But first, to get connected to the PLC, I'm going to select Connect using our COMBIVIS Connect software. And once we have a connection, then I will be able to import all of the tags. Okay, looks like we're connected. So now when I select Get PLC Tags, you'll see that all of the tags that are in the project get imported here. And you can select and choose which tags you'd like. I will select all of them and select Import. Now you can see that they are imported into your real-time DB, which is your database of variables, and they are ready for use. Now we are going to set up a data logger. To do that, just click on the data logger and recipes resource, right-click, add a new data logger, and any and all tags that you want to log into a database, you can easily just select them in your real-time DB and drag it onto your data logger. Next, you'll see on the right-hand side of the window here, you have your properties window, and from here we can customize exactly how you want to log the data, what format you want to log the data to, such as like a CSV file, and then you can also define where the data is actually stored. So here I have record on time frequency. So this is going to be recording every 5 seconds. You can also log data into the database based on an event trigger such as an alarm, or you can even log data anytime the data changes, the variable changes. Moving down, you have your database options. So this will define exactly what format the data is stored into. We have a variety of options, but most commonly we see is customers just want to save the data as a CSV file, so they can either copy it off the router or save it to a USB stick, insert it in the router or HMI, and grab the data that way. So here I'm going to select Save as a CSV and select the Apply button to save all changes. And then one other thing I should mention is you see the field Cloud Options. So our cloud router, our C6 cloud router, allows you to push data to a cloud service such as AWS or Azure, and this would just enable the MQTT client that would be running on the router and pushing this data to that cloud service. So now that the data logger is set up, the next thing that we're going to do is configure an alarm. So you do that by going to the alarm resource, right click, select add new alarm, and from here you can see on the right hand side of your properties you can link up an alarm variable. So I will select the fault bit from my PLC code and select OK. And the next step is to add a threshold. So this threshold will define when the fault is active, and by default it has an activation value of 1. So anytime that bit goes high, then a fault will be triggered. as you can see, there's quite a few properties here. So this will really allow you to customize how you want to respond to an alarm, and it will also allow you to send alarm notifications. So if you want to react to a fault quickly, or you want maybe a maintenance technician to be alerted if there are any problems with your machine, then you can set up notifications such as emails or SMS messages, and all of these notifications will be sent to any of the recipients that you configure, which are added in the users and user groups resource. But for time's sake, we won't set any of those users up. But when you go to set that up, you'll also be able to assign an email or a phone number to any of the users there. And lastly, you can also have attachments to emails. So you can attach fault logs, data logs, or any other log that you create within this project. And lastly, the last step that we will do here is create a few screens and configure a few screens to actually visualize the data that we are logging. So to start, you can see I create a few template screens. The first one is the trend screen, and here what we can do is drag and drop any objects from our toolbox here. So we have a wide variety of common objects such as buttons, graphs, LEDs, sliders, and so on. For status, I'm just going to use a trend so that we can see the simulated cosine and sine signal that I have coming from my PLC project. So the nice thing about this software is it's all drag and drop, and once you drag and drop it, you just customize any of the properties, the styles such as colors, fonts, all from the right hand side of the screen. You can see here that it's a blank trend, but we will link our data logger to this trend, so the trend will display all the data that's getting logged into the database. Drop down this, you'll see data logger 1 is there, and you can see here that automatically you'll see the 2 tags that we've added to the database, and then as this is running, you'll get a live value, a minimum, a max, and an average of the data as the project is running. Next, we will set up the alarm log. To do that, we will go to the advanced objects in our properties, select alarm window, and drag it onto the screen. Similar to the trend, you have a lot of different options for customizing it. I always use the text. I like to see the text on the button, so I'll click that. And then if any of these fields that you see here aren't necessary, you can always eliminate them by just simply dragging them off the screen and adding into the field choice. And lastly, we will set up a log so we can view the log that's getting put into our database. You can see that from the data logger window. Drag that on the screen. Resize it. And similar to the trend option, under the execution property, you can select the data logger that you'd like to link to it. And once this is loaded, then you will see all of the data that is put into the database will be displayed right here in this window. So I'll save the project. And for time's sake, I already loaded this project onto the router, so I will be able to view it from COMBIVIS Connect. So once again, I will open my window. My VPN connection is already established, and from here you can quickly access any of the screens from the Web Pages tab. You can pull any of the data files that you have right from this Data Logger tab. And lastly, if you want to do any other maybe advanced file transfers, you can access any and all data that's been saved to the router, even a USB that's been inserted into the router or HMI product. Now I guess we can see the project running. You can see here my trend. It's updating in real time. My alarm log shows that there's an alarm that's been active. I can acknowledge it, reset it. You can also configure special help files, which will also help reduce machine downtime if you want to quickly react to any faults. And lastly, the data logger window, which you can see is collecting the values that are getting saved into the database. And if you'd like to pull the data that's been saved, as it is in CSV format, you can either go to the Data Logger tab or this File Transfer tab. Since I'm already there, I'll choose this. And you can go into the HMI project directory where all your project files are saved. And if you go to dloggers, you will see we have a database, a CSV file that includes all of the data that's getting saved into our data logger. Thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at kebamerica.com.